Imagine, if you will, that your mind is a fertile and your thoughts are the seeds you plant within it. But it is not enough to simply plant these seeds and hope they will grow. No, you must nurture them with the water of your emotions, the sunlight of your belief, and the rich soil of your unwavering faith. This, my friends, is the essence of feeling it until it manifests. Many of you have heard the phrase, thoughts become things. But I tell you now that this is only half of the equation. Thoughts alone are but whispers in the wind, easily scattered and forgotten. It is when we infuse our thoughts with the power of feeling, deep, visceral, all-encompassing feeling, that we truly begin to harness the creative force of the universe. Consider for a moment the last time you truly wanted something. Perhaps it was a new job, a loving relationship, or a state of perfect health. Did you simply think about it in passing? Or did you allow yourself to be consumed by the feeling of already having it? Did you taste it, touch it, hear it, see it in your mind's eye with such clarity that it felt more real than the chair you're sitting in right now? This, my friends, is the art of feeling it until it manifests. It is the practice of stepping into the reality of your desire with such conviction that the universe has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your inner state. For you see, the outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. A mirror that shows you the sum total of your deepest beliefs and feelings. Let me share with you a profound truth that has the power to transform your life. Your imagination is the very workshop of God. Within the realm of your mind, you have the ability to create and experience anything you desire. And when you learn to dwell in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you set in motion forces beyond your comprehension that work tirelessly to bring your inner reality into outer expression. But how, you may ask, does one achieve this state of feeling? How does one bridge the gap between mere wishful thinking and the visceral experience of living in the end? The answer, my dear friends, lies in the power of your imagination coupled with the intensity of emotion. Close your eyes for a moment and think of something you deeply desire. Now, instead of simply picturing it in your mind, I want you to step into that reality. Feel the emotions that would course through your body if your desire were already fulfilled. Are you elated? Peaceful? Confident? Allow these feelings to wash over you, to permeate every cell of your being. As you do this, you may notice resistance arising within you. Doubts may creep in, telling you that this is mere fantasy, that you're fooling yourself. But I assure you, these doubts are nothing more than the old patterns of thought that have kept you bound to a limited existence. Acknowledge them, then gently set them aside. For in this moment, as you immerse yourself in the feeling of your fulfilled, you are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. Remember, the feeling is the secret. It is not enough to merely visualize or affirm your desire. You must feel it with every fiber of your being. You must live from the end, experiencing your desire as a present fact rather than a future possibility. This is the key that unlocks the door to manifestation. Let me give you an example to illustrate this principle. Suppose you desire financial abundance. Many people make the mistake of focusing on the lack of money in their current reality, constantly worrying about bills and expenses. But this focus on lack only serves to perpetuate more lack. Instead, I urge you to feel the state of abundance now. Close your eyes and imagine how it would feel to have more than enough money. Feel the relief of all financial burdens lifted from your shoulders. Experience the joy of being able to provide for yourself and your loved ones without worry. Sense the freedom that comes with financial security. Allow these feelings to become so real, so tangible, that you can almost touch them. As you persist in this feeling day after day, you will begin to notice subtle shifts in your outer world. Opportunities may arise that you hadn't seen before. Your relationship with money may begin to change. You may find yourself making wiser financial decisions or attracting unexpected windfalls. This is the law of attraction at work, responding to the new vibration you are emitting through your meetings. But here's the crucial point, my friends. You must maintain this feeling regardless of what your current circumstances show you. This is where many falter on the path to manifestation. They allow the apparent reality of their physical senses to override the truth they have claimed in their imagination. But I tell you now, your physical senses show you only the effects of past thoughts and feelings. They do not dictate your future unless you allow them to do so. This is why persistence is key in the art of feeling it and manifests. You must be willing to live in the end, to maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, even when the world around you seems to contradict it. For it is your persistence that demonstrates your faith, and it is your faith that moves mountains. Consider the biblical story of Joshua and the walls of Jericho. For 6 days, Joshua and his army marched around the city walls, maintaining their faith that God would deliver the city into their hands. On the 7th day, they shouted with all their might, and the walls came tumbling down. This story is a powerful metaphor for the principle we are discussing tonight. The walls of Jericho represent the barriers that seem to stand between you and your desires. Your persistent faith, represented by the marching, is the feeling state you must maintain. And the shout on the 7th day symbolizes the final powerful assertion of your belief, the tipping point at which your inner conviction becomes outer reality. So I ask you, what are the walls in your life that seem insurmountable? What desires have you held back from claiming because they seem too big, too impossible? I tell you now, no desire is too grand, no dream too lofty for the power that lies within you. But you must be willing to persist in the feeling of its fulfillment, to march around those walls day after day, maintaining your faith, even when there is no outward sign of change. Let us delve deeper into this concept of persistence. Many of you may have tried to apply the principle of feeling it until it manifests, only to give up when results didn't appear as quickly as you hoped. But I urge you to understand that time is a construct of the human mind. In the realm of spirit, where all creation takes place, there is no time. Your desire is already fulfilled there. It is your persistence in feeling that draws it into your physical experience. Think of it like tuning a radio. Your desire is like a specific frequency that's always broadcasting. By persistently feeling the reality of your desire, you're tuning your personal frequency to match it. At first, you might only get static or glimpses of the station. But as you stay tuned, the signal becomes clearer and stronger until it's playing in full fidelity. This is why it's crucial to make feeling your wish fulfilled a daily practice. Set aside time each day to enter into the state of your desire fulfilled. Make it as vivid and real as possible. Engage all your senses. If your desire is a new home, feel the keys in your hand, smell the fresh paint, hear the sound of your footsteps echoing in the rooms. If it's a successful career, feel the satisfaction of accomplishment, the respect of your peers, the financial rewards that come with it. As you do this, you may find that your outer world begins to reflect glimpses of your inner experience. These are signs that your manifestation is in progress. Celebrate these signs, no matter how small, for they are confirmation that you are on the right track. But do not become attached to them or anxious for more. Simply acknowledge them and return to your feeling state, knowing that more is on its way. Now, let's address a common obstacle that many face on this journey, the influence of others' opinions and the so-called facts of your current reality. You may find that as you begin to live in the feeling of your desire fulfilled, those around you question your sanity. They may point to your current circumstances as proof that your desire is impossible. But remember this, everyone is you pushed up. The doubts and disbelief of others are merely reflections of the doubts that still linger in your own consciousness. This is why it's so important to guard your mental diet. Just as you wouldn't eat spoiled food, you must not consume thoughts and ideas that contradict your desired state. This doesn't mean you should ignore reality, but rather that you should interpret everything through the lens of your wish fulfilled. If someone expresses doubt, silently bless them for playing their part in your manifestation story. For when your desire manifests, their doubt will make your triumph all the sweeter. Let me share with you a powerful technique to help you maintain your desired state, even in the face of contradictory circumstances. It's called revision, and it involves mentally rewriting events that seem to oppose your desire. For example, if you're manifesting financial abundance and you receive an unexpected bill, don't react with worry or frustration. Instead, close your eyes and revise the scene. Imagine opening that same envelope and finding a check instead of a bill. Feel the joy and gratitude of this unexpected windfall. By doing this, you're refusing to give power to the unwanted circumstance and instead reinforcing your desired reality. This practice of revision can be applied to any area of your life. Had a disagreement with a loved one? Revise it in your imagination to a harmonious interaction. Received a rejection letter for a job you wanted? Revise it to an acceptance letter. The key is to feel the revised scene as vividly as you can, infusing it with the emotion you would feel if it actually happened that way. This is not denial of reality, it's the active shaping of your reality through the power of your imagination and feeling. As you become more adept at living in the state of your wish fulfilled, you'll find that your entire perception of the world begins to shift. Things that once seemed like obstacles now appear as opportunities. Coincidences and synchronicities become more frequent. You may even start to feel a sense of déjà vu, as though you're remembering future events rather than experiencing them for the first time. This is a sign that you're aligning more closely with your desired reality. But here's a crucial point to remember as your outer world begins to shift. Do not become complacent. Many make the mistake of relaxing their mental discipline once they see evidence of their desire manifesting. They think it's working now, I can ease up. But this is precisely the time to double down on your feeling state. For manifestation is not a one-time event, but a continuous process of aligning with your desired reality. I think of it like maintaining a garden. You don't plant seeds, water them once, and then ignore the garden. You continue to nurture it, to weed it, to ensure it has everything it needs to thrive. In the same way, you must continue to nurture the feeling of your desire fulfilled, even as it begins to manifest in your outer world. Now, let's address a question that often arises. What about taking action in the physical world? Some teachings emphasize action, while others focus solely on mental work. The truth, as always, lies in balance. Inspired action is a natural outgrowth of living in the state of the wish fulfilled. When you truly feel your desire as a present fact, you'll find yourself naturally taking actions that align with that reality. For example, if you're manifesting a new career, you might feel inspired to update your resume, reach out to contacts in your desired field, or learn new skills relevant to that career. These actions flow naturally from your feeling state, rather than being forced or done out of desperation. This is the difference between inspired action and action born of lack or fear. Remember, the outer world is a mirror of your inner state. As you persistently feel your desires fulfilled, your actions in the physical world will naturally align with that feeling. You won't have to force yourself to take action. Instead, action will feel effortless and natural, as though you're being guided by an invisible hand. This brings us to another important aspect of feeling it until it manifests: detachment from the how. Many people sabotage their manifestations by trying to control every detail of how their desire will come about. But the truth is, the universe has infinite channels through which your desire can manifest, many of which you can't even conceive of with your limited human perspective. Your job is not to figure out how your desire will manifest, but to maintain the feeling of it already being manifest. The how is not your concern. Your only responsibility is to live in the end, to feel the reality of your desire so completely that you're no longer seeking it, but experiencing it as a present fact. This detachment from the how can be challenging, especially for those of us who like to be in control. But it's a necessary step in allowing your manifestation to unfold in the most harmonious and beneficial way possible. Trust that the infinite intelligence of the universe knows far better than your human mind how to bring about your desire in the best possible way. Let's take a moment to address a common concern. What if you're having trouble feeling your desire is real? What if doubt and disbelief keep creeping in? First, understand that this is normal. You're working against years, perhaps lifetimes of conditioning that has taught you to trust only your physical senses. Changing this habit takes time and practice. One powerful technique to overcome doubt is to start with small manifestations. Choose something that feels believable to you, something you can easily feel as real. It could be as simple as manifesting a cup of coffee from a friend, or finding a parking spot in a crowded area. As you successfully manifest these smaller desires, you'll build your confidence and your belief in the process. Another technique is to use imaginal acts. These are short, vivid scenes that imply your desire is already fulfilled. For example, if you're manifesting a romantic relationship, your imaginal act might be feeling your partner's hand in yours as you walk together, or hearing a friend congratulate you on a wonderful relationship. The key is to make these scenes as vivid and real as possible, engaging all your senses and the accompanying emotions. Repeat these imaginal acts multiple times throughout the day, especially upon waking and before sleep. These times are particularly potent because your subconscious mind is more receptive then. As you fall asleep, carry the feeling of your wish fulfilled into your dreams. Many report significant breakthroughs in their manifestations after consistently practicing this nighttime technique. Now, let's explore the role of gratitude in feeling it until it manifests. Gratitude is not just a nice sentiment. It's a powerful force that aligns you with the frequency feeling. When you're grateful for something, you're acknowledging that you have it. This is why it's so important to cultivate gratitude, not just for what you already have in your physical reality, but for your desires as though they're already manifest. Each day, take time to feel deep gratitude for your desire as though it's already yours. Feel the emotion of thankfulness wash over you. This gratitude serves two purposes. It reinforces your feeling of already having your desire, and it puts you in a high vibrational state that attracts more things to be grateful for. Remember, the universe doesn't distinguish between what you're grateful for in your physical reality and what you're grateful for in your imagination. Your feelings of gratitude are equally powerful in both cases. So don't wait to feel grateful until your desire manifests physically. Feel that gratitude now and watch how it accelerates your manifestation. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, I want to address a vital point: the importance of self-love and worthiness in the manifestation process. Many people struggle to manifest their desires because deep down they don't believe they're worthy of receiving them. But I tell you now, worthiness is your birthright. You are a divine being created in the image and likeness of God. There is nothing you cannot be, do, or have. If you find yourself struggling with feelings of unworthiness, make self-love a priority in your manifestation practice. Spend time each day acknowledging your inherent worth, independent of any external achievements or possessions. Feel deep love and appreciation for yourself, just as you are. As you cultivate this self-love, you'll find it easier to feel worthy of your desires, and thus easier to feel them as real. In conclusion, my dear friends, remember this: feeling it until it manifests is not just a technique, but a way of life. It's a commitment to living from the end, to experiencing your desires as present facts rather than future possibilities. It requires persistence, faith, and a willingness to see beyond the illusions of the physical world to the truth of your inner being. As you leave here tonight, I challenge you to choose one desire, one dream that you've held in your heart. Commit to feeling it as real, to living in that state day and night, regardless of what your outer circumstances show you. Persist in this feeling, nurture it with your attention and emotion, and watch as the universe moves to make it your physical reality. Remember, you are not a helpless being pushed around by circumstances. You are a divine creator, shaping your reality with every thought and feeling. The power to manifest your deepest desires lies within you, waiting to be awakened by the intensity of your feeling and the persistence of your faith. Go forth and create the life you desire, for it is already yours in the realm of infinite possibilities. Feel it, believe it, live in it, and it shall be yours in this physical realm. The world is your mirror, reflecting back to you the sum total of your deepest beliefs and feelings. So feel it until it manifests, and watch as your world transforms before your very eyes. May you go in peace. Kabir Chaikal's response was limited as it hit the maximum length allowed at this time.
There is a story within every moment, and there is an ending to every story. This is not something to fear. It is something to understand. Because when you understand the nature of endings, you begin to live differently. You begin to sharpen your attention, to refine your choices, to prepare not with anxiety but with awareness. Many people live as if they have time. They postpone what matters. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect clarity, the perfect peace. But life does not promise such luxuries. What is here now can vanish in the next breath, and yet we carry on as if we are immortal, as if this body, this mind, this life will go on forever. That illusion is the root of much suffering. To prepare for the end is not to be morbid. It is to be wise. It is to live in such a way that when the final moment comes, you are not filled with regret, but with calmness. It is to ask yourself now, what have I left unfinished, unsaid, unlived? What am I holding back? Not out of wisdom, but out of fear. What am I attached to so tightly that it blinds me to freedom? Look around you. Every leaf falls eventually. Every flower, no matter how fragrant, must wilt. Every body, no matter how strong, must one day return to dust. This is not a tragedy. It is the rhythm of existence. It is the same force that gives birth to a child and takes the last breath from an elder. If we fight it, we suffer. If we prepare for it, we awaken. A warrior does not wait until the battle arrives to sharpen his sword. A sage does not wait for darkness to seek light. So too, we must not wait until the end to examine the quality of our days. We must reflect now. Are we living in alignment with our purpose? Are we treating others with dignity? Are we cultivating inner peace, or are we trading it daily for temporary pleasures? You see, preparation is not merely external, it is internal. You may have wealth, knowledge, and influence, but if your heart is not at peace, the end will come as a thief in the night. You will not be ready. But if you have trained yourself to be present, to be grateful, to act with integrity, then you are already prepared no matter when that moment arrives. The greatest mistake is thinking we have time. Time is not guaranteed. Life is not measured by its length, but by its depth. So dig deep now. Do not wait to forgive. Do not wait to say, I love you. Do not wait to begin again. The opportunity for growth is not tomorrow. It is now. Every breath you take is a moment of choice, a chance to return to your center, to remember who you are, to walk the path with clarity. We train the body so that it may serve the mind. We train the mind so that it may serve the spirit. And we train the spirit so that it may meet the end without fear. This is why discipline matters. This is why self-reflection matters. Not to impress anyone, not to earn praise, but so that when you look in the mirror at the end of your journey, you recognize yourself. You see a being who lived awake, who lived on purpose, who lived in truth. You do not need more time. You need more presence. You need more stillness. You need to stop hiding from yourself. Face the silence. Face the truth. The more you do, the less you fear the end, because you realize there is no end for the one who has truly lived. Only a continuation, a transition, a return. Live so that when the final moment arrives, you are not clutching to life, but bowing to it with grace. Not resisting what must be, but honoring all that has been. That is the way of the wise. That is the path of preparation. And that is the power of knowing the end is coming, before it's too late. So many are busy chasing things that do not last. They run from morning to night, accumulating possessions, collecting titles, earning approval from others who are just as lost. But when silence finally surrounds them, when the noise dies down, they feel the emptiness inside. That is the moment when truth begins to whisper, was any of this real? Was any of this worth it? The wise one sees through the illusion before it shatters. They understand that preparing for the end is not about dread. It is about purification. It is about clarity. It is about stripping away the unnecessary until only the essential remains. And what is essential? Your character, your state of mind, your intention. These are what carry you beyond the threshold. Ask yourself, if you had just 1 year to live, how would you spend it? What would change? And now go deeper. Why are you not already living that way? What illusion has convinced you to delay your joy, your healing, your full expression? There is no gatekeeper but yourself. There is no authority stopping you from being whole. Only your own hesitation. Every sunrise is a quiet reminder. You are being given another chance. Another chance to correct your course, to release what weighs you down, to forgive yourself for your past, and to walk forward in the direction of light. But how many people waste that chance? How many sleepwalk through their days, numbing themselves with distraction and calling it a life? To live with awareness of the end is to prioritize. You stop wasting time on petty arguments. You stop clinging to wounds that serve no one. You stop betraying your deeper knowing for the sake of comfort. You become deliberate. You speak with sincerity. You listen with your full being. You move through the world, not in a rush, but with reverence. This is what it means to be a practitioner, not merely of martial arts, but of life. You cultivate presence the way a gardener tends a sacred field. You pull out the weeds of jealousy, pride, and greed. You water the roots of kindness, patience, and humility. You stand watch over your own mind, because you know that your thoughts become actions, and your actions become your legacy. People often ask, what is the purpose of discipline? Why train the body, the breath, the mind? The answer is simple, because life is unpredictable. Suffering will come, loss will come. And when it does, you will need inner stability. You will need an unshakable center. You will need the ability to stand still in the storm. That strength is not given, it is forged. You do not prepare for the end by running from death. You prepare by learning how to live fully, truly, deeply. When your actions are guided by compassion, when your words are clean, when your heart is free from hidden bitterness, then you are ready. Ready for the next breath or the final breath. It does not matter, because you have already fulfilled your duty to this moment. This is why silence is a powerful teacher. In silence, there are no roles to play. There is no audience to impress. You are left with your own reflection. What do you see when the performance stops? Are you at peace, or are you haunted by the things you've avoided? Begin there. Begin with the truth you've been afraid to face. That is where your preparation begins. You see, the fear of the end comes from unfulfilled life, from unresolved pain, from words you swallowed, dreams you buried, and love you withheld. But when you give yourself permission to live honestly, to speak when your heart says speak, to let go when your soul says release, then the end is no longer a thief. It becomes a doorway. We are all passing through. No one stays. So, do not get too attached to the form of things. The house will fade. The body will age. The name will be forgotten. But the way you lived, that leaves a vibration, that leaves an imprint, that moves forward, even when the form has gone. Train yourself to see what is eternal in the midst of what is temporary. Feel the pulse of life beneath the surface of events. Notice how even in the smallest gestures, you are shaping your path. When you help someone without needing recognition, when you stay calm when provoked, when you choose silence instead of judgment, that is preparation. That is mastery. Preparation is not dramatic. It is quiet. It is in your posture, your tone, your breath. It is in how you sit with discomfort, how you respond to criticism, how you treat those who cannot help you. It is in whether your peace depends on external approval, or whether it is rooted in something deeper, unchanging, immovable. To be prepared means to have nothing left to hide, nothing left to prove. It means you have looked into your shadows, made peace with your wounds, and honored your responsibilities. Then when the call comes, whatever form it takes, you can bow your head and say, I am ready. This life is a dojo. Every challenge is a form of training. Every loss, a lesson. Every setback, a test of your inner structure. Will you collapse or will you rise? Will you grow bitter or will you become more compassionate? These are the real questions. These are the silent exams you take every day. Do not wait for tragedy to wake you up. Do not wait for a diagnosis or an accident or a goodbye to remind you what matters. Wake yourself up now. Look around you. Listen carefully. Someone you love will not be here forever. Someone you know is carrying pain you cannot see, and you, your own time, is not unlimited. So why delay the life that is calling you? Do not settle for a surface life. Go deeper. Ask yourself, what do I fear most? What have I been avoiding? Where am I pretending? And then sit with those answers, not with judgment, but with honesty. Because in that honesty there is power, there is freedom. And where there is freedom, there is peace. It is said that when a person dies, they do not regret what they did, as much as what they did not do. They regret the words they never spoke, the love they never expressed, the risks they never took, the presence they withheld. So if you already know this, why not change the pattern now? Why not live in such a way that when your time comes, you smile? To prepare is to practice dying every day, not in sadness, but in awareness. Every night when you go to sleep, let go of the day as if it were your last. Every morning when you rise, take your breath as a sacred gift. Every action you take, make it worthy of your presence. Every word you speak, let it carry truth, not just noise. This kind of life is not always easy, but it is real, it is rare, and it is powerful. Because while others are lost in illusion, you are rooted in essence. While others are asleep, you are awake. And in your awakening, you become a light. Not for show, but for service. So walk softly, but with purpose. Speak gently, but with clarity. Live simply, but with depth. This is how you prepare. This is how you honor the mystery of life. Not by clinging, but by letting go. Not by controlling, but by aligning. Not by pretending, but by being. You came into this world with nothing. You will leave it with nothing. But in between, you have the chance to give everything to your growth, to your truth, to your practice. That is the real work. That is the silent vow of the one who walks the path. And the time to walk it is now, before it's too late. There is a moment in each life when silence becomes louder than sound. When no words can fix what's been broken. When no money can buy what's been lost. And in that moment, people often ask, what was it all for? That question, so powerful in its simplicity, does not wait for an answer in the future. It asks to be answered right now. To live with that question in your heart is not a burden. It is a compass. It shows you what truly matters. It shows you how much time you've spent chasing things that offered no real nourishment. And it calls you to a deeper standard, a higher discipline, a life not built on convenience, but on truth. You may ask, well, what does it mean to prepare? It means to strip away the false layers. It means to free yourself from the noise of the world so you can hear the wisdom of your own soul. It means to stop postponing your purpose until life becomes easier. It means to stop bargaining with your potential as though you have an unlimited supply of time. Look at nature. It is always preparing. The tree prepares in silence for the coming winter. The bird does not wait for the rain to build its shelter. The river flows forward, never looking back. But we, with all our intelligence, keep pretending that the end is far away. We keep assuming we will be given more time. That is the illusion we must overcome. You must prepare by becoming intentional. What you allow into your mind shapes the world you see. What you tolerate in yourself defines the limits of your freedom. What you practice daily becomes your fate. These are not things to reflect on once a year. These are things to confront every day, with courage, with presence, with discipline. A disciplined life is not a restricted life. It is a free life. It is the life of one who is no longer enslaved by impulses, no longer driven by blind desires. Discipline sharpens your perception. It opens your heart. It aligns your actions with your highest values. It prepares you to meet the end not with confusion, but with quiet certainty. You do not want to reach the final hour and realize you were asleep. You do not want to look back and see a trail of unfinished work, unreconciled relationships and unspoken truths. You want to arrive knowing you gave your best. You emptied yourself into the moment you were given. You walked the path with dignity. To prepare is to make peace, not just with others, but with yourself. The things you regret, the things you hide, the memories you try to erase, look at them, sit with them, heal them, forgive yourself, not because you are weak, but because you are finally strong enough to stop carrying unnecessary weight. Your soul knows the truth. It has always known. It's the part of you that whispers when you ignore your inner calling. The part of you that aches when you betray your own integrity. It's that still voice that gets louder as you grow quieter. When you ignore it, you live in confusion. When you obey it, you come into harmony with the flow of life. There is a sacred order beneath all things, a rhythm, a wisdom, a timing, and the more present you become, the more clearly you hear it. The less you chase the external world, the more you see how much power lives within. Not the power to control others, but the power to change your state, to direct your energy, to walk with grace, even through difficulty. Preparation means remembering what you forgot, remembering the child you once were, full of wonder and honesty, remembering that the people around you are fragile, temporary, sacred, remembering that your breath is not guaranteed, and each inhale is a miracle. When you remember, you return not to the past, but to presence. Most people do not live. They only react. They move from one distraction to the next, from one desire to the next, trying to escape stillness. But in that stillness is your training ground. In that stillness, the real work begins. That is where you find the clarity to ask yourself, am I ready? Am I living in such a way that if today were the last, I would be proud of how I spent it? Do not fear that question. Embrace it. Let it drive you not into panic, but into precision, into love, into service. Let it remind you to call the person you've been thinking of, to speak kindly when it's easier to remain silent, to sit in silence when it's easier to fill the space with noise. Let that question shape how you wake, how you walk, how you rest. We prepare not for death, but for deeper life, not for an ending, but for an expansion. Because if you can meet the end well, it means you have lived well. If you can surrender without resistance, it means you have tasted freedom. And that is what this path is about. Not survival, not success in the worldly sense, but liberation. Liberation from fear, from attachment, from the illusion that you are separate from others, from the whole, from the source. You are not. The more you prepare, the more you realize that you see yourself in everyone. You see the sacred in everything. Even your struggles become holy when seen through the eyes of wisdom. Do not waste your breath on things that do not bring peace. Do not give your energy to arguments that lead nowhere. Do not let your mind be pulled in 100 directions when the truth is always here, now, inside. Come back again and again. That is practice. That is preparation. Some days will feel light, others will feel heavy, but both are part of the journey. The point is not to feel perfect, but to stay aware. The point is not to impress the world, but to live in alignment. So when the world falls silent and your name is no longer spoken, something of your essence remains, not in memory, but in presence, in the lives you touched, in the peace you cultivated. The warrior prepares for the strike long before the battle. The monk prepares for the silence long before the mountain. The wise prepare for death, not by dying, but by learning to live fully awake. You don't wait to be ready. You make yourself ready, moment by moment, step by step, choice by choice. Nothing in this life belongs to you. Not your possessions, not your status, not even your body. What is truly yours is how you used your time, how you treated others, how deeply you loved, how honestly you lived. That is all you take with you. That is all you leave behind. And so walk with care, speak with truth, breathe with gratitude, prepare yourself, not with fear but with clarity, because the end is not the enemy. It is the final mirror, and it will show you not what you owned, but who you became. If you knew the mirror was waiting at the end, perfect, silent, uncompromising, how would you move through your day? Would you rush past the moments? Would you speak without thinking? Would you allow pride to harden your face when softness was needed? That mirror, the end, is not your enemy. It does not punish. It only reflects. And what it reflects is the substance of your life, not the stories you told about it, not the excuses you gave, not the titles you collected. Only what was real. So the question must be asked again and again, not in despair, but as a compass. What am I becoming? Not what am I achieving? Not what am I collecting? Not what am I planning? What am I becoming? Because you are always becoming something, even when you think you are standing still. Your habits are forming you. Your thoughts are shaping you. Your silence or your speech is moving you somewhere. The direction is not neutral. To prepare is to take responsibility for that direction. It is to see clearly that you are not just a leaf being blown by the winds of the world, but a living force that can choose, that can resist distraction, that can awaken. But awakening requires effort, consistency, honesty. It requires that you stop running from the inner work and finally sit in it, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. People say they want peace, but are they willing to do what peace demands? Are they willing to let go of the past, even when it means giving up the identity they've built around their pain? Are they willing to admit they were wrong, even when pride screams not to? Are they willing to pause and breathe before reacting, when it would be easier to lash out? These are not small things. They are the real training. Every person will face loss, will face change, will face the unknown. That is not in your control. But what is in your control is whether you meet those things prepared or unprepared. If you are prepared, the storms will not shake you to your roots. You will bend, but not break. You will grieve, but not lose yourself. You will continue to walk, not because it is easy, but because you trained for this. You prepared your mind. You fortified your spirit. Preparation is invisible to the outside world. It happens in the dark hours, in the silent decisions, in the moments when no one is watching. That is when it counts the most. Not when people are applauding, but when no one notices. Will you still act with honor? Will you still keep your word? Will you still choose what is right instead of what is easy? If you live only for the surface, you will crumble. When the depth is demanded, and it will be demanded, life will strip away your distractions. Life will place you face to face with yourself, not to harm you, but to bring you home, back to what is essential, back to what endures, back to what you've always known in your deepest self, even when you tried to forget. We cannot stop the end, but we can meet it clean, we can meet it ready. We can live so that when the final breath comes, it finds us not afraid, not bitter, but full of experience, full of forgiveness, full of peace. That is the real wealth. That is the only treasure worth guarding. So how do you prepare? You live now as you wish you had lived when you reach the end. You listen more. You love more freely. You give without calculating. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, and instead bring your full self to the moment you have. Because that moment is all there ever is. The future is a concept. The past is a memory. But this breath, this step, this choice, this is reality. And if you can be fully present here, you are preparing well. You must become intimate with your own impermanence, not to feel helpless, but to wake up, to see the sacred in the ordinary, to find joy not in what you hold, but in how you hold it, lightly, gently, with appreciation, not possession. Then when it's time to let go, your hands will already know how, because you practiced. You let go every day in small ways, of anger, of judgment, of control. And with each letting go, you made space, space for grace, Space for the kind of peace that nothing in the world can give or take away. And that is the peace you want to carry with you when the end comes. Not the peace of ignorance, but the peace of understanding. The peace that comes from having done the work, from having loved fully, from having dared to forgive, from having taken responsibility for your own growth, again and again. So do not wait for permission to begin. Do not wait for someone else to lead you. The path is already beneath your feet. You are already on it. The question is, will you walk it with awareness? Stop expecting the world to change so you can be happy. Stop blaming others for the pain you carry. Stop postponing the life you say you want. If it matters to you, live it now. Speak it now. Embody it now before it's too late. This is not a call to panic. It is a call to presence, to precision, to power, the kind of power that does not dominate, but liberates, the kind of power that comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you will not allow to live inside you anymore. Resentment, fear, envy, delay, they have no place in a prepared heart. Let them go, one by one. Even if they try to return, keep letting go. It is a practice, a discipline, a path. Every sunrise you wake to is an undeserved gift. Every relationship you mend is a form of healing. Every time you choose understanding instead of being right, you are preparing. Every time you quiet the ego and listen to what is really being said, you are training. Every time you humble yourself and ask, what can I learn here? Instead of how can I win here? You are getting closer to the core of this life. And if you think you are not ready, understand this. Readiness is not a destination. It is a decision. It is a series of decisions made day after day. To be honest, when it would be easier to pretend, to act when it would be easier to avoid, to stay when it would be easier to flee. That is how preparation grows, like a seed that becomes a tree. And the tree is not worried about the storm. The tree is rooted. It is grounded. It does not fear what is to come because it is prepared, not by holding tightly, but by growing deeply. You too must grow deeply into your values, into your silence, into your truth. You must become unshakable, not because nothing can move you, but because you know how to return to your center over and over again. That is what it means to be ready. And so, the invitation is clear. Prepare not with panic, but with presence. Prepare not in fear, but in wisdom. Prepare not because the end is near, but because this is the kind of life worth living. One that needs no warning. One that welcomes the mirror. One that knows the end is not the enemy. It is simply the place where truth is revealed. It is simply the place where truth is revealed. And if you have lived truthfully, there is nothing to fear in that revelation. If you have walked with integrity, if your actions have followed the quiet voice within rather than the noise outside, then the end is not a punishment. It is a return, a release, a surrender into the arms of the life you honored while you had it. Too many wait until they are forced to reflect. They wait until the body is weak, until time runs thin, until opportunities have vanished and silence settles in. Only then do they look back and see how much they missed. Not because life denied them, but because they were not present to receive it. But presence is a choice, one you make 1,000 times a day. You choose it when you put the phone down and meet the eyes of a loved one. You choose it when you eat slowly, when you breathe deeply, when you listen fully. You choose it when you resist the urge to rush and instead allow life to unfold with deliberate reverence. Even in hardship, you can be present. Even in pain, there is a kind of preparation happening. The breaking down of illusions, the surrender of resistance, the strengthening of what matters. When you stop running from discomfort and start seeing it as a teacher, your life begins to shift from reaction to revelation. You see clearly what was hidden behind all your striving. You realize the true power was never in controlling outcomes, but in mastering your inner response to life as it is. And how do you master that response? You train, not once, not occasionally, daily. You train your mind to observe before it judges. You train your breath to calm your nervous system. You train your body to be strong, still, and resilient. You train your heart to open when it wants to close. You train your spirit to hold its center even when the world around you spins. This is the training of the one who is prepared, not in arrogance but in humility, not to escape death but to greet it with peace. Everything you do leaves a trace. not just on others, but on yourself. Every thought you feed becomes part of your character. Every emotion you avoid becomes a shadow you carry. Every moment of honesty strengthens your foundation. You do not need to be perfect, but you must be aware. You must be willing to see yourself clearly, even when the image is not flattering, especially then, because that is where the real work begins. Not in pretending you are enlightened, but in admitting where you have more to learn, more to release, more to refine. What you practice becomes who you are. If you practice distraction, you will become scattered. If you practice complaint, you will become better. If you practice compassion, you will become peace. Life is not waiting to offer you a final exam. Life is the exam. Every day is the test. Every conversation, every decision, every failure and success. These are the moments where your preparation is revealed. Not someday, but now. People often say, I'll change when the time is right. But the time will never announce itself. The door does not knock. You must open it. You must step through. Because waiting until later is the most dangerous delusion. Later is not guaranteed. Later is how lives are wasted, how relationships die, how dreams rot untouched. You do not wait for the end to live with urgency. You live now so that when the end arrives, you are not found begging for one more day to do what you already knew you should have done. You already know. Deep inside, you already know what must be done. The apology that must be spoken, the truth that must be faced, the habit that must be broken, the gift that must be shared, the story that must be rewritten, the lie that must be let go. You know. The question is not what to do. The question is whether you will do it before it's too late. This is the path of maturity. To stop blaming others for your own soul's silence. To stop waiting for life to change and instead become the change. To take up the inner sword and cut through the excuses, the laziness, the fear. No one can do this work for you. But you do not walk it alone. Every act of courage echoes into eternity. Every moment of mindfulness shifts the world. Every soul who awakens strengthens the collective heartbeat of humanity. So don't say, who am I to change? Say instead, who am I not to awaken? You were born for this moment, to wake up, to live consciously, to die with grace. The time for half measures is over. The time for waiting is over. Now is the only moment you own, and in this moment you can choose the path of preparation, not as fear, but as freedom. You don't need to see the whole path. You just need to take the next step with your eyes open and your heart steady. The way will reveal itself as you walk. One step, one breath, one silent decision at a time. This is how a life is built, not by grand gestures, but by 1,000 quiet commitments to show up fully, even when no one is watching. Let your preparation be invisible, but undeniable. Let it be felt in your presence, not heard in your words. Let it radiate from your stillness, from your clarity, from your ability to meet whatever arises with an open heart. When others panic, let them find calm in you. When others rage, let them find peace in your eyes. When the world forgets what matters, let your life be a quiet reminder. You are not here to be consumed by the world. You are here to illuminate it. But you cannot light the way for others if your own inner flame has gone out. You must tend to that fire daily, relentlessly. You must guard it against distraction. Feed it with practice. Protect it with silence. Fan it with truth. That inner fire is your preparation. That is what will guide you when the road darkens. That is what will keep you warm when the world grows cold. And in the end, when the breath slows, when the body returns to the earth, when the mind dissolves into stillness, what will remain is not your fear, but your fire. Not your image, but your essence. Not your story, but your sincerity. Not your performance, but your presence. Let that be enough. Let that be everything. Keep preparing. So walk forward, not with fear, but with mindfulness. Let every breath remind you, this moment is your chance. This day is your dojo. This life is your path. Prepare not because the end is to be feared, but because it is to be honored. Let it find you ready. Let it find you awake. Let it find you living so fully, so presently, so truthfully, that when the final silence comes, it will not feel like an interruption, but a continuation of the peace you have already found within. You are the dreamer of your life and within the infinite possibilities of your consciousness, countless parallel realities unfold, waiting for you to choose the one that reflects the deepest desires of your heart. In every moment, you stand at the crossroads of infinite versions of yourself, each one existing simultaneously, each reality offering a reflection of your assumptions, beliefs, and state of mind. Understand this: the world you see around you is not a fixed, static structure. It is a malleable, fluid manifestation of your inner state. The circumstances, the people, the situations all reflect the reality you are dwelling in. And just as easily as you can change your mind about anything, you can shift into a new reality where all things align with your highest vision. The key lies in the recognition that you are not bound by the physical world. What you see, what you touch, what you experience is but the external expression of an internal state of being. When you change the way you feel, when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you step into a parallel reality where that wish has already been realized. Imagine for a moment that the life you dream of already exists. It is not a far-off future, a distant possibility. It is a present reality, one that you can move into by aligning your consciousness with it. The reality you seek is not out there, waiting for you to find it. It is within you, waiting for you to awaken to it. To shift, you must first let go of the belief that you are confined to this present moment or this current set of circumstances. Release the notion that this is all there is. The present moment is simply the result of past assumptions. Your future, your next reality, is already on the horizon, and all that is required of you is to shift your focus and claim it. You shift into a new reality, not by force or struggle, but by entering a state of knowing. It is a state of assumption, a state of belief in the unseen. You no longer need to wait for things to change on the outside. As you change your inner world, your thoughts, your feelings, your assumptions, you will naturally move into the parallel reality that matches your new internal state. The only thing standing between you and the reality you desire is your willingness to believe in it fully, to assume that it already exists, to walk as though it has already happened, to live in the end. When you live in the end, the universe has no choice but to conform to your assumption. The parallel reality you seek will unfold before you as if it had always been there, waiting for you to step into it. So, begin now. Let go of any doubt, any fear, any thought that contradicts the reality you wish to experience. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and move as if it is already yours. In this moment, you are not bound by the past or the present. You are free to choose the reality you wish to inhabit, and the moment you make that choice, the doors to your new world swing wide open. Step through them. You are the creator, and all things are possible to you. In the vast expanse of your inner world, there are no limits. You have always been the architect of your experience, shaping it with the brushstrokes of your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. You are the conscious creator of your reality, and the world you see is simply a reflection of what you have assumed to be true. If you desire change, you do not need to wait for the world to change first. No, you must first change your assumptions, your perception of yourself in the world. And in doing so, you will shift into a parallel reality that reflects your new beliefs. Every moment of your life is a doorway to a new possibility. Your perception of what is possible determines your reality. What you believe to be true, you experience. This is not a random or haphazard occurrence, but a law that governs the very fabric of existence. If you desire a new experience, a new reality, you must first change the internal world, the world of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. Once you do, the external world will follow suit. But many find themselves trapped in the illusion that their reality is fixed, that it is determined by forces outside of themselves. They believe they are subject to the circumstances of the world, to the people around them, to time and space. They look at their current situation and assume it to be their fate, unable to imagine that another reality, one that is more aligned with their deepest desires, exists. This is where the power of assumption comes into play. Assumption is the key that unlocks the door to a new world. It is the act of assuming that the thing you desire is already true. It is not a wish, nor a hope, nor a distant dream. It is a knowing. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you walk through the world as if your desire has already manifested, you are shifting into a parallel reality where that desire is already a fact. But how can this be? How can you step into a reality that is not yet apparent in the physical world? The answer lies in the nature of consciousness. Everything you experience in the physical world is a projection of your consciousness. Your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs. They create your reality. The world outside of you is not separate from you. It is a mirror reflecting your inner state. Therefore, if you desire to shift into a new reality, you must first shift your consciousness. You must become the person who already has what you desire. You must live in the end as if the thing you want is already yours. When you assume the end state of your desire, the universe must conform to it. It has no other choice. The law of assumption operates universally and indiscriminately. It does not care whether your desire seems realistic or far-fetched. It does not care whether your current circumstances suggest otherwise. It is simply the law, and it works with absolute precision. The moment you begin to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are planting a seed in your consciousness. Just as a seed in the soil grows and eventually produces fruit, so too will your assumption grow and eventually manifest in your external world. The seed of your desire, once planted in the fertile soil of your imagination, will begin to take root and manifest itself in the physical world. And it will do so in ways that are beyond your conscious understanding, for the universe knows exactly how to bring your desire into being. Now, some may ask, but how do I shift into a reality where my desires are already fulfilled when the present moment seems to contradict everything I want? The answer lies in the power of imagination. Imagination is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the known and the unknown. Through imagination, you have the power to transcend the limitations of time and space. You are not bound by the present moment. You are free to enter any reality you choose, simply by directing your imagination toward it. You see, the present moment is only a snapshot of your past assumptions. It is not the end of the story. It is merely a reflection of what you have believed in the past. The future, the next moment, is not predetermined. It is a vast field of potentiality, ready to be shaped by the thoughts, feelings, and assumptions you hold in this moment. The key to shifting into a new reality is to no longer identify with the present circumstances that seem to bind you. The moment you let go of the belief that your current situation is fixed, that it defines who you are and what you can have, you open yourself to the possibility of a new reality. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you step into the reality you desire with full conviction, you are not pretending. You are not forcing something to happen that doesn't already exist. You are simply tuning into the frequency of that reality, aligning your consciousness with it. And when you do this, the external world must follow. It cannot resist the power of your assumption. You may wonder, but how long does it take for my new reality to manifest? The answer is simple. As long as it takes for you to fully assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and sustain that assumption without wavering. Time is a reflection of your beliefs, and as you change your inner state, time will bend and shift to accommodate your new reality. So the moment you shift your assumptions, the moment you fully step into the reality of your desires, the physical world will begin to reflect that new assumption. But the key is persistence. You must remain true to your assumption no matter what the external world tells you. It may take time for the physical world to align with your inner state, but you must trust that it is already done. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, it is done. There is no need to check or question it. Your desires are already on their way to you, and all you must do is remain faithful to the assumption that they are yours. You see, you are not bound by the physical limitations of time, space, or circumstance. The world you experience is a direct reflection of your consciousness. And just as easily as you can shift your focus from one thought to another, you can shift your entire reality. The key to this shift lies in your ability to believe in the unseen, to live in the end, and to trust that the universe is always working in your favor, aligning your external world with the assumptions you hold within. When you fully embrace this truth, when you understand that you are the creator of your reality, you will begin to see the world differently. No longer will you feel at the mercy of the external world. No longer will you believe that your circumstances are unchangeable. Instead, you will see the world as it truly is, a reflection of your inner world, a mirror that shows you who you are and what you believe. And as you begin to consciously choose the realities you wish to experience, you will find that the world becomes more and more responsive to your inner state. Doors will open, opportunities will arise, and people will show up who align with your new assumptions. Your external world will shift to match the new story you are telling yourself. And with each shift, you will feel more and more empowered, more in control of your experience, and more deeply connected to the limitless potential within you. As you wear that your current situation, do not be deceived by what you see. Do not let the present moment convince you that your desires are out of reach. Know that the reality you seek is already here, waiting for you to step into it. You are not bound by your past. You are not limited by your present. You are free to move into any reality you choose. The key to that shift is in your hands, and it is already at work within you. Trust in your power, trust in your ability to shift, and most of all, trust in the truth that the reality you desire is already yours, just waiting for you to awaken to it. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you will step into a new world, one where all things are possible, where your dreams are already real, and where you are the conscious creator of your experience. You are not a passive observer in this world, you are an active participant, the central creator of the reality you experience. Every thought, every belief, every assumption you hold is a thread in the vast tapestry of your existence. There is no need to wait for the external world to change first. It will always follow the lead of your internal world. The secret is in understanding that the outer world is but a reflection of what you are internally. If you desire a different reality, all you need to do is adjust your inner vision, change your state of being, and the world will shift to match it. You may be wondering, how can this be true? How can simply changing my inner world lead to a tangible shift in my outer circumstances? The truth is simple. The law of assumption is absolute. The law does not distinguish between what is imagined and what is real, between what has already manifested and what is yet to appear in the physical world. The law operates on the premise that your assumptions create your reality, whether you are consciously aware of it or not. Your imagination is your tool, your means of creating and shifting realities. The power lies in your ability to enter into the feeling of your desire being fulfilled and to remain in that state. Imagination is not merely a tool for daydreaming, it is a powerful creative force. Through it, you can experience the world you wish to inhabit. The moment you immerse yourself in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are no longer tied to the present moment or its limitation. You transcend time and space, shifting to a parallel reality where your desire is already realized. When you truly understand this, you begin to realize that the world is not something that happens to you, it is something that happens because of you. Every experience, every encounter, every circumstance is a result of your inner state. This is why when you change your assumptions, your beliefs, and your internal narrative, the world must change with it. The universe is a mirror, reflecting back to you what you believe to be true. Consider for a moment that your current life, your current reality, is merely the result of past assumptions. The life you are living today is a manifestation of the thoughts, beliefs, and emotions you have held in the past. And just as easily as you can choose to think a new thought or adopt a new belief, you can shift into a new reality. The power lies in your ability to let go of the past and step into the new. Your future is not fixed. It is a vast field of potentiality, ready to be shaped by the thoughts, emotions, and assumptions you hold in this very moment. The key to shifting into a parallel reality is to cease identifying with the present moment. Stop looking at the external world and thinking that it defines you or limits you. Stop believing that your circumstances are permanent or that they dictate your future. The external world is fluid, malleable, and ever-changing, shaped by your inner world. You are not stuck in your current situation. You are free to move, to shift, to step into a new version of yourself at any time. To shift into a new reality, you must first embrace the concept that all realities exist simultaneously. The reality you are experiencing now is just one of many possible realities. Each thought, each belief, each assumption you hold brings you into alignment with a specific version of reality. Your current reality is simply a reflection of the state of mind you were in when it was created. But as you change your state, as you shift your assumptions, you are no longer bound to that version of reality. You can move freely between realities, choosing the one that best reflects the desires of your heart. And here lies the true magic. You don't need to change the external world to bring about the shift you desire. The shift happens within you. It begins in your mind, in your heart, in your consciousness. The moment you shift your assumptions, the world begins to rearrange itself around you. People, events, circumstances, they will all align with your new state of being. The world cannot help but reflect what is held in your consciousness. Let go of the notion that you must fight or struggle to change your reality. The act of struggle only perpetuates the belief that change is hard, that your desires are out of reach. Instead, allow the reality you want to emerge naturally by assuming the state of the wish fulfilled. This is not about forcing things to happen, it is about allowing them to happen. It is about aligning your consciousness with the reality that already exists, in the unseen, the reality that you have already created in your imagination. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you step into a parallel reality where that wish is already true. You are not trying to make it happen, you are simply aligning yourself with the version of yourself who already has what you desire. This alignment is not a matter of time or effort, it is a matter of belief. When you believe fully in the reality you wish to experience, it must come into being. The moment you feel that it is already yours, it begins to unfold before you. But the journey does not end once you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is not a one-time act, it is a way of living. You must remain in the state of assumption even when the external world appears to contradict your desires. The external world is simply a reflection of past assumptions, and as you change your assumptions, the world must follow. But it will take time for the external to shift and align with your inner state. Your job is to remain faithful to the assumption that your desire is already realized, to continue living as if it is already so, no matter what your senses may tell you. It is in this persistence, this unwavering belief, that the magic happens. You see, the universe responds to your faith in your assumption. It does not matter if the current circumstances appear contrary to your desires. The universe does not operate on the basis of current facts. It operates on the basis of your assumptions. If you continue to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, your external world will eventually reflect that assumption. Do not allow the physical evidence to sway you from your course. The world may appear unchanged, but know that it is shifting beneath the surface. The moment you assume the feeling of your desire fulfilled, the universe begins to rearrange itself to bring your assumption into being. It may take time for this to manifest in your physical world, but the inner shift has already occurred. It is already done in the realm of consciousness, and it will unfold in the physical world in its perfect time and manner. When you fully embrace this truth, when you understand that your reality is malleable and that you have the power to shape it through your assumptions, you will begin to live with a sense of freedom and confidence. No longer will you feel at the mercy of the external world. No longer will you feel that your circumstances define you, and instead you will know that you are the creator of your experience, that you have the power to shift into any reality you desire simply by adjusting your consciousness. You are not bound by the past, by your current circumstances, or by the limitations of time and space. You are free to move between realities, free to shift into the version of yourself who already has what you desire. All you need to do is believe, assume, and live in the end. The rest will follow. And as you begin to embrace this truth, as you step into the reality of your desires, you will find that the world becomes more and more responsive to your inner state. The people, the situations, the circumstances, everything will begin to align with your assumptions. The world will reflect back to you the reality you have created in your consciousness. And with each shift, you will grow in your understanding of your true power as the creator of your reality. As you continue to align your consciousness with the reality you desire, you will notice subtle shifts taking place within your experience. These shifts may begin small, appearing as little synchronicities, coincidences, or signs that the universe is rearranging itself to match your new assumptions. Trust in these signs, for they are evidence that you are on the right path. The universe does not operate in a linear fashion, and your manifestation does not follow a fixed timeline. But know this, every moment you stay true to your assumption, you are getting closer to the full realization of your desire. The process of exemplification is often easy to become discouraged when the external world does not immediately reflect your new inner state. You may look at your current circumstances and wonder if anything is really changing. It's important to understand that the process of shifting realities is like planting a seed. You do not see the seed sprout immediately, but you know that the process is happening beneath the surface. With time and consistent nurturing, the seed will grow, and the reality you are assuming will begin to unfold in the world around you. Do not let doubt or impatience deter you. Your assumption is the most powerful force you possess. When you hold a strong and unwavering belief in the reality you wish to experience, the external world must conform to it. It is inevitable. The law of assumption is unfailing. The universe is always working with you, responding to the frequency of your thoughts and beliefs. That's the natural effect of many wish fulfillment. And the moment you believe fully in the reality you desire, that reality will begin to materialize in ways that are beyond your conscious understanding. This is where the true power of imagination comes in. Imagination is not mere fantasy. It is the creative force that shapes your world. When you imagine yourself living in the reality you desire, you are not simply daydreaming or wishing for something that is out of reach. You are tapping into the potential of the universe, aligning your inner state with the parallel reality where your desires are already fulfilled. Your imagination is the vehicle that takes you into this new reality, and it is through the power of your imagination that you can experience all the richness and beauty of the life you have created in your mind. And as you continue to immerse yourself in this imagined reality, you will find that your external world starts to shift. People will begin to show up in your life who reflect your new assumptions. Opportunities will appear, seemingly out of nowhere, to align with the reality you have assumed. Circumstances that once seemed impossible or out of reach will suddenly present themselves as natural, inevitable, and even effortless. The key to this is that you are no longer fighting against the flow of life, but flowing with it. You are no longer resisting the unfolding of your desires. You are allowing them to manifest naturally, trusting that the universe is working with you every step of the way. At times, you may encounter moments of doubt or fear. You may question whether the reality you desire is truly possible for you. This is simply the mind's way of trying to protect itself, of holding on to old beliefs and assumptions. When this happens, gently remind yourself that your assumptions are what create your reality. The moment you choose to shift your focus and reaffirm the truth of your desired reality, you shift your world. The world outside of you cannot hold on to the old assumptions once you choose to embrace a new belief. The power of your consciousness is far greater than anything that might seem to stand in your way. It's crucial to remember that the world outside of you is always changing in response to your inner state. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs are the driving force behind everything you experience. If you want to see a change in your external world, you must first change within. The process is not about forcing things to happen. It is about stepping into the feeling of your desire already fulfilled. It is a state of being, not doing. You are not waiting for the external world to change to match your desire. You are simply choosing to live as though it has already happened, fully embodying the reality you wish to experience. Your emotions play a key role in this process. When you can cultivate the feeling of joy, gratitude, love, and fulfillment as though your desires have already been realized, you are aligning yourself with the vibration of that reality. Emotions are energy in motion, and they carry a frequency that attracts like energy. When you feel good, when you feel the emotions of your desires already being fulfilled, you are sending out a signal to the universe that aligns with the reality you wish to experience. The stronger and more consistent the emotion, the more magnetic it becomes, pulling that desired reality towards you. It is important to remember that your thoughts and beliefs are not just ideas floating around in your mind. They are powerful forces that shape your reality. Your inner world is not something that can be ignored or dismissed. What you hold in your mind becomes your experience. If you are constantly focused on what you don't have or what you fear, you will continue to attract more of the same. However, when you focus on what you desire, when you hold the image of your fulfilled wish in your mind, you are training your consciousness to move in the direction of that reality. You are not waiting for something to happen, you are making it happen. The moment you step into the consciousness of the reality you desire, you are already there. The shift happens in an instant. It is your ability to hold that state of being, to persist in the assumption of your wish fulfilled, that determines how quickly your external reality will shift to match it. In this process, patience is not about waiting for something to happen in the future. It is about maintaining your state of belief and trust in the unseen. You are not waiting for your desires to be given to you. You are simply allowing them to unfold, trusting that everything you need is already on its way to you. The more you focus on the feeling of having what you desire, the less you will feel the need to check or doubt whether it is coming. You will know it is already yours. Your reality is not separate from you, it is an extension of you. You are the creator, and the world is your canvas. Every thought you think, every assumption you make, paints a stroke on that canvas. If you are not satisfied with the picture you see, change your assumptions, change your focus, and begin painting a new one. The brush is in your hands, and you are the artist of your experience. The more you practice this, the more natural it will become. You will begin to see that the external world is not something you have to fight against or change with force. It is something you simply need to align with by assuming the feeling of your desires already fulfilled. When you do this, you will find that life begins to flow effortlessly, and the realities you once thought were distant and impossible will unfold before you as if they were always meant to be. You are not bound by the past, you are not bound by the present, you are free to step into any reality you choose. The power to shift is always within you, and it is always available to you. You need only to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and the world will rearrange itself to match the state of being you have chosen. Trust in this power and know that the reality you desire is already on its way to you. The shift is happening now. In the end, remember that the power to shape your reality lies within you. You are not a passive participant in the unfolding of your life, but the conscious creator of it. Every thought, belief, and assumption you hold is a thread that weaves the fabric of your experience. The moment you shift your assumptions, you shift into a new reality, one where your desires are already fulfilled. It is not the external world that dictates your experience, but your inner state, your consciousness, that shapes the reality you live in. The law of assumption is absolute and unwavering. When you fully embrace the belief that your desires are already yours, the universe must respond to this assumption. It may take time for the physical world to reflect your inner state, but trust that it is already in motion. The key is persistence. Continuing to live as though your desires have already manifested without doubt or hesitation.